All right, so I was scrolling on Bleacher Report today, and I feel like trade rumors are at an all-time high right now. Look at this nonsense. Brandon Ingram wants a trade. Early trade predictions over here. Jalen Green wants a trade. McCollum could be traded. Terry Rozier viewed as a trade candidate. Nets players are valuable. Moody you could trade for. Looney you could trade for. It's like a Dr. Seuss rhyme. Kuzma available. Lakers trio. Jimmy Butler to the Mavs. Oh my gosh, yeah, it doesn't end. So you know what? I might as well do it as well. We're going to do a video today talking about one of these players, Brandon Ingram. We're going to go through every single team in the NBA and figure out what teams realistically could even use Brandon Ingram, and then also can they trade for him. So hey, leave a like, subscribe, comment. You guys know what to do. I respond to every single comment to my channel. Let's jump into the video. So funny enough, I was going to do a video on just general trade rumors because I feel like I see so many of them right now, but then this one came out just like maybe like 30 minutes ago or something. Pelicans Brandon Ingram wants winning competitive environment. So basically what the article said is like, hey, they're either going to trade him or they're going to extend him. It's like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Like, yeah, of course that was the case. But anyway, they've made it pretty clear that that's what's going to happen at this point. I don't know, man. I don't see them giving them the extension. Personally, if I'm the New Orleans Pelicans, I'm very skeptical of doing much at all right now. I mean, we'll talk about Brandon Ingram in a second, but if we can just talk about the Pelicans are in this really weird spot where they should have a good basketball team, but we don't know if it's a good basketball team. This team is all hurt. Like, we never get to see them together. Zion's always down. Ingram goes down for a bit. McCollum goes down for a bit. DeJounte Murray was out for portions of it. Trey Murphy and Herb Jones were out for portions of it. Jose Calderon was. Like, we all saw the lineup they threw out at one point this year. It was nuts. Like, it feels like this group can't get it together, and they're running out of time because they have to start making decisions, and they're either going to lock into this group for a little bit, or, you know, they do like a soft reset or something like that because they have so many assets on the team, and they're probably not quite championship contenders yet, but we don't even know if it's worth investing a bunch into this team to see if they can get to that next level right now because we don't get to see them play together. So personally, if I'm the New Orleans Pelicans, I'm saying, okay, I might just have to be done with Brandon Ingram for the time being. I have the blessing of having a bunch of other talented wings on this team. I can figure it out with them. I need to go get something for Brandon Ingram right now. How do you trade Brandon Ingram? That's another question. Well, we should understand him a little bit first. So Brandon Ingram overall is having a pretty solid season. 16 games, right? He's missed maybe a little bit less than most of the other people on the team. 23 points per game. That's awesome, right? Like, it should be known. Brandon Ingram's one of the best players in the NBA. Dude's really, really good. Borderline all-star player every single season, right? Like, that's how good this guy is. There's not many guys that can do what he can do on a basketball court where he can handle the ball effectively, he can distribute, he can score from anywhere on the court, right? He's just a good basketball player. He's pretty smart for the most part. I will say he's been forcing the issue quite a bit this year. The turnovers are at an all-time high right now at 3.9, almost 4 turnovers a game. It's 5.4 assists. That's an assist-to-turnover ratio of what, like 1.8, 1.7? I don't know. Math is hard in my head. But you want like a league average is like 2. For his position, it's probably more so like 1.9. But anyway, the turnovers are bad right now. He's playing with rough teammates. He's trying to win games. I can kind of excuse it for that reason. I don't think it's anything too egregious. But, like, otherwise, you've got a guy that's shooting, where's the three-point percentage here? 36, almost 36.5% on almost 7 3-point attempts a game. Like, we love that out of this position, a guy that can handle. The field goal percentage is a little bit rough right now. If we take a look at his shooting chart, like, really, really good around the rim. And then we kind of see these little sporadic shots. Like, dude can go score from anywhere, right? He's just hunting, right? He's hunting to get a shot off. And he's one of those guys that just creates his own looks, right? Because he's just playing the game of chess with everybody. He's reacting to what the defense is doing. It leads him to a spot where he feels comfortable. He can take a shot. He shoots it. Is this optimal? Not really. It's kind of interesting that he takes so many shots right here because I know that this is a heavily contested shot if you're shooting it there. You don't just get open right here in the middle of the court. Like these, you might have gotten some separation or something like that, gotten a shot off. I can justify it a little bit more. It's still not something I want to see. You have to really have them read for me to be like, okay, cool. But regardless, like these are the shots he's taking, right? A lot of them from this wing. Interesting that he's so cold from this side of the court. But this is Brandon Ingram. He's a good basketball player at the end of the day. Teams would be interested in this guy. He's just in the last year of his contract, and somebody's going to have to extend this dude. And that takes us over here to Fanspo. Shout out Fanspo. It's always a cool thing to do with these videos where we can just go and mock out all the trades, see what actually can happen. The Pelicans, are they in last place in the West right now? Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, you're not. I don't think you're recovering this season. I don't think. Oh, Bug, give me that. Come here, Bug. God damn it. My wife tells me I act like a golden retriever sometimes, so sorry, I get distracted. But anyway, we got Brandon Ingram here. We've got $36 million. We're luckily not an apron team, so we have the ability to move him a little bit more. But anyway, we're going to go through every single team, bottom to top, and we're going to figure out what we can do with this guy, right? Like, what do we want for Brandon Ingram is probably a good first question, right? We'd love to get some center help on this team because Yves Missy, while he's been okay as a rookie, right? Like, he's not a starter quality center in the NBA yet. Maybe long term, but for the time being, no. We don't know what we're doing with Zion at this point. CJ McCollum is somebody that you could trade if you absolutely needed to. DeJounte is someone you keep at this point just because you just went and got him. Herb and Trey are great guys to have. I really like Jordan Hawkins on this team. I probably don't need to trade like a Javonte Green or something like that. Why is he listed on here twice, fans? But what's going on? Alvarado, probably don't want to touch him, right? And then you got a bunch of other things. Brandon Boston's actually been okay for them this season. Really good rebounding guard. I'm not sure I trust him scoring a whole bunch. But anyway, what do we want? Do we want draft picks? I don't know. Like, it'd be great to get a draft pick or something for him, but can we just replace the talent to try to retool this team? Is that worth it? I don't know, but let's go through and just kind of figure things out. The Utah Jazz are interested in any trade. At the end of the day, they always are. It's just, you have to go through all the nonsense of making sure you don't get completely screwed over by what's his name? I can't remember the name, the president of basketball that they have over there. But look, the Jazz will do anything to get better. They have an extreme weakness at the wing right now. Like, they're playing Lowry at the wing. Not his ideal position. He does it just fine, right? Cody Williams, we saw, is the worst offensive player in basketball this year, and Isaiah Collier is not far behind him. He's not a wing, but I just like to point that out. And then they've got a whole bunch of bleh at the wing. Svi Mykhailiuk, whatever. Johnny Juzang hasn't really done much for them this year. I saw he got in the other day. Bryce Sensabaugh was okay for them last year. Hasn't really done much this season. So is there a trade that makes sense here? Are they moving a John Collins or something like that for a Brandon Ingram? Probably not. They probably don't want to lock up any more money. They're really playing for the draft this year, so I don't see the Jazz really getting involved in this. The Portland Trailblazers, okay. Yep, so there's instantly something, right? There is instantly something here. DeAndre Ayton, right? DeAndre Ayton is not needed on this team. The Portland Trailblazers need to trade one of their centers. Desperately needs, right? One of the good things we've seen this year is your boy, what the hell is this? Fanspo. 20,000 in 4 years. That's a great contract right there. The inflation is going to be great for this. But anyway, Donovan Clingan has been really good I shouldn't say really good, but Donovan Clingan's been pretty solid for the Portland Trailblazers this year. We've seen in some of these later weeks some of that defensive dominance that I was kind of anticipating with him. I think the Trailblazers were realizing that too. They were starting him and then he went and got hurt. So that's a whole thing. So they have Robert Williams on the team. They don't need him. They have DeAndre Ayton on the team. They don't need him. Honestly, I'd love to see them get, where's the boy, Duop Reith on the court a little bit more, because he was one of the players that played really well with Scoot last season. But, they don't like to play with run, jump, and dunk guys on this team because they mismanage their roster all the time. So it's whatever. But there's certainly a trade here. It's just a matter of, is it a 2-teamer? Is it a 3-teamer? What are we doing here, right? So the obvious stuff, move him over here, move him over here. Like, does this just work in and of itself? It does. Wow, beautiful. DeAndre Ayton, probably not quite the player that Brandon Ingram is. It's not quite the same thing, right? I mean, we go and look at some stats here. We don't have just like general point averages on here, do we? I don't know. Fanspo, it doesn't really look like it. Come on, Fanspo, they're all the way up here, that's why. 16 points, 11 rebounds. We all know DeAndre Ayton's shot chart's one of the worst in the NBA. He just kind of gets in the way. Do you really want him next to Zion Williamson? Maybe not, but maybe this is the opportunity to get a center that you that you can. So I'm not necessarily tripping about it, right? I'm not tripping about it, but is this the final trade? I can't imagine that it is, right? Like, something else has to kind of happen here. Also, like, why would the Trailblazers want Brandon Ingram is the next question, and the answer is, I don't know. I don't think they would. I don't think that makes any sense. Like, why would they throw this guy on their team? Throw another ball handler on the team so Scoot Henderson can continue to just not have the basketball and suffer? No, I don't think it makes sense. So I think we have to add a third team in some capacity to this at some point, but we're going to remember that the Trailblazers were an option, and we'll come back to them whenever we need a third team at some point. So, Sacramento Kings. This is an interesting one. This is kind of an interesting one. The Kings' wings are really suffering this year. Kevin Huerter has been rough. Keegan Murray has been rough, right? Trey Lyles hasn't been like anything all that crazy. Doug McDermott honestly wasn't all that great for them. They just brought Jay Crowder in. Where is Jay Crowder? Do y'all have him on here yet? Y'all don't even have Jay Crowder on the list. Come on, Fanspo. Gotta update quicker. Gotta update quicker. I don't see them locking themselves into Brandon Ingram along with all these other contracts, so we're probably gonna move past Sacramento here. The Minnesota Timberwolves. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Your boy gets curious now. Your boy gets curious. Okay. Julius Randle has to get moved. I think the Timberwolves realize that already. They're like, okay, we thought maybe we could make this work. And I know all of us were like, hey, let's see what happens. And it's gone exactly how we anticipated, right? Timberwolves, not very good this season. Anthony Edwards has made it abundantly clear that he does not like this new team composition. He's already annoyed with Rudy half the time, and now Randall's like arguing with him all the time. Jaden McDaniels just like doesn't do anything on the court. Naz Reid doesn't play enough. None of the shooters get any space. Why won't they play Terrence Shannon? Nobody knows. It's a whole confusing thing. They don't run any offensive scheme. It's horrible. It's really, really ugly right now. Someone needs to help Anthony Edwards. Okay, I'm curious now. Here's the problem, right? So if Julius Randle gets swapped for him, fine, right? Like, he goes over to the Pelicans, they get a big man, hell, maybe they even throw him at center. No way you can put him and Zion on the court together. That makes no sense whatsoever. Can Brandon Ingram come play over here? Probably not. You're not going to extend him because the whole point of trading Cat is you wanted some financial flexibility to re-sign Naz Reid, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, two of your better players. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is actually having a really good season. So there you go. By the way, Brandon Ingram is as well. I just want to make sure I keep saying that. He's like a +7 for their team right now. So, good for Brandon Ingram. Man, no, nothing we can do here with Minnesota. There's no way that Minnesota can do anything here. It's a cool concept, but, Brandon Ingram to the Spurs. Could we make a trade out of this? Yes, we could. We could absolutely find a way to make this happen. Something with Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson. That could happen. I don't think the Spurs are interested. I can't imagine that they are. I think they're pretty content with just being like, let's let Wemby take 12 threes a game, because that's what they're doing at this point. Let's let Stephon Castle kind of figure his stuff out. Devin Vassell's coming off the bench at this point. Why not? I don't know what they're doing. Pop needs to come back, but they're like, let's see what we got with this. Let's let the young guys develop, and we'll be patient. So the Spurs are waiting right now. Dallas Mavericks, no, there's no way they can financially pull that off, right? No, I don't think so. Sorry, Dallas Mavericks. Denver Nuggets. Interesting. So obviously Michael Porter Jr., you could do something like that. Brandon Ingram is more of a dynamic player than Michael Porter Jr. I don't anticipate Brandon Ingram playing very well off of Jokic, though, like Porter does. Michael Porter Jr. is having a very good season for them. Like, well, I mean, we could take a look at the stats, I suppose. Let's take a look at old MPJ for them right now. 16 points, 7 rebounds, 1.5 assists. We know he doesn't swing the rock or anything. 38% from three. Dude shoots the shit out of the basketball. Oh no, current season he's shooting 40% from three. No, Michael Porter Jr. is too good. He's a really good off-ball defender. I know someone said something good defensively about Michael Porter Jr. He really is. He's just not a great on-ball defender. So, I don't know. He just works with the team, too. Like, I mean, they won a championship with him. It's not like it was in spite of him. And no, they can't make this happen. Nope. Sorry, Nuggets. Suns. Nope. We're just going to move right on past them. The Clippers. Interesting. They're not trading Norm at this point. They're not, like, trading... No, there's no way. There's no way the Clippers can pull this off. I'm sure they'd be interested, but I don't think there's a way for them to pull it off. Memphis. Okay, we can make something happen here. We can make something happen with this one. How do we do this? They need a wing, right? Jalen Wells has been a nice rookie for them. It'd be great if he could come off the bench, and this would just be a way to, like, look, the Grizzlies are like, what? They're like the 3rd or 4th seed right now? Oh, they're the 5th now. How do the Lakers get in front of them? Interesting. I don't feel like the Lakers are playing that well, but maybe that's just because they got their asses handed to them last night at the time of recording this. There's a trade here. We could do this. I think Brandon Ingram would be interesting on this team, mostly because they don't have a big man that is like absolutely in the way at all times. I wouldn't play him next to Edie a ton, but even so, like, Brandon Ingram's so good at like moving the ball around and stuff. Like, I feel like if he is creating, he could see Edie for things. Could be an interesting opportunity there. Because here's the thing, like, Bane can kind of go get his own shot. He's not doing anything like all that crazy. He's just a really efficient scorer. He doesn't necessarily create a ton. Jock obviously creates a ton. Jaren can. It's not anything that you need to send 2 people at him for. Brandon Ingram, on the other hand, yeah, you probably have to send more people at him, so that adds a new layer to the offense. Should fit in defensively just fine. Okay, let's draw this out. Let's stop messing with this for a second. So Brandon Ingram heads over to the Grizzlies. What am I doing now, right? Marcus Smart,
probably send him back, right? You don't need Marcus Smart. Send him back over to the Pelicans. That's $20 million right there. This is a risky move, right? This is locking them into the apron, but that locks them into a pretty dynamic core. You have to hope that Edie is your center long term, but you have a lot of other options. You have like Aldama, you have Edie, you have Brandon Clark, right? Brandon Clark might be on the move. Jay Huff has been solid for you. Okay, we can send over a center to you now. We can also send you over Brandon Clark, right? So that right there should work financially. Yep. That works financially. Okay. Interesting. So we send back Marcus Smart, we send back Brandon Clark. You get back two interesting people. You get a center that you can use. Cool. Is there something else that we need to give them, like player-wise, to make this work? I don't necessarily think so. I think this one's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. Gotta throw in a pick, though. Probably giving up your 2025 or 2026 first-round pick. Like, I would say give up your 2026 because you're taking the risk of taking on a guy for a one-year deal, right? That's a big risk for you. You're taking on some money for them. The 2025 draft is more valuable. They'd probably rather have a draft pick to use to get a not-so-expensive player to add to their roster. That's probably how I'd go about it. So does a trade like this sound good to people? Does that sound good? I mean, if I'm the Pelicans, you don't feel like super thrilled about that. At least you got a big man that you can use, right? That's exciting. He's not a great fit next to Zion, but you needed a big body, so you know what? You went and got a decent-sized body. Marcus Smart, valuable player. He'll play some defense, right? So I don't know. It's an easier contract to move if you absolutely have to. And then the Grizzlies, they add Brandon Ingram to things. I can get behind that. Right? Like, this is a killer lineup at the end of the day. Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane, John Morant, Brandon Ingram, insert Santi Aldama in there. Like, you have LaRavia as an option as well, Jay Huff, and obviously Edie. When he's healthy, you can run Jaren at the 5, Brandon at the 4, right? And you can still throw Jalen Wells in there, Gigi Jackson when he gets healthy. There's a lot of, like, dynamic players that you can throw into that, so I'm in support of it. But anyway, moving on. The Lakers. Yeah, there's always something with the Lakers, isn't there? There is always something with the Lakers. All right, what do we do? Obviously, Brandon Ingram over to the Lakers. Look, they're looking for any talent upgrade. This would be a talent upgrade. Is it as simple as just sending D'Lo and Hachimura over to this team? Does that even make sense? Hachimura over to this team? No, you'd probably like to get a center in some capacity, right? You'd love to. Is this where we bring the Trailblazers in? By the way, does this even work? Financial, you need to cut another $300K. Okay, fair enough, and they're more expensive. Okay, so yeah, let's bring in the Trailblazers now. This is where we get to use them. So let's reset some stuff. So let's undo. What am I doing now? Let's expand this as well so we can get a better view of it all. Looking at this, they need to eliminate some centers. They could use some centers, right? That's a whole thing. What do the Trailblazers want? They want draft capital, most likely, and maybe a young player or two that they could find interesting. Okay. Can we send DeAndre Ayton over there? Would we rather send Robert Williams over? Is the question. That is the question. Now let's send Ayton over now to the Pelicans. That's a solid center, right? He's a good center at the end of the day. He's just not the most effective in terms of like winning, but you get a center, right? For 2 more years at a little bit cheaper, you get a center. And now we have to move the money, right? We have to move the money. So D'Lo heads over to the Blazers. Hachimura moves over to the Blazers because you don't need him anymore. You need to move a little bit more money. So who are we willing to move in this situation? And we're going to have to move more people from Portland as well to make this happen. By the way, I think the trade deadline is going to be a little bit dead this year overall, just because trades are so hard to make. And I think that teams are really going to have to get creative and get like 3-4 teams involved to make a lot of these deals. I think everyone's going to want to make deals, but I think it's going to be hard. So is this one where a Max Christie is used in this somehow? I'd sure prefer not to. Does Jalen Hood-Schifino get thrown into things? He gets thrown into every single trade. He's not that interesting and not that valuable, but hell, send him over to the Pelicans. Why not, right? They send him over. They get a young player back as well. That's cool. Where are we at financially with this trade? It works. Okay, let's evaluate this. They get basketball players. They get another ball handler that they probably just don't want, right? There's a part of me that wants to bring a 4th team into this. Any of these teams, can I ship D'Lo off to for a season? Can I ship D'Lo somewhere for a season? Like, Can the Clippers like work with D'Lo somehow? Why would they want him? They've got Harden and he has the ball the entire time. There's no reason to do that. The Grizzlies, they don't need D'Angelo Russell. They just don't. But maybe they're not getting Brandon Ingram in this deal and they'd rather have no, but they got Scottie Pippen. He's fine. Like I like Scottie. No, it's not the greatest thing ever. What do the Blazers get out of this? That's my question. They get Hachimura, who's maybe a little more conducive to them performing a little bit better. He's a younger guy that they can try out a little bit, see if he fits with the team a little bit more, frees them up to trade Jeremy Grant, who's going to be damn near impossible to trade as well. This is complicated. This is complicated. This is complicated. I don't love D'Lo on this team. I'd love to see them just like flip him or something like that. Maybe they even buy him out or something. I don't know. And he goes and signs with someone else. That'd be really unfortunate for D'Angelo Russell, especially with how the aprons work too, because you can't always play in the buyout market. Shit, that's a tough one. That's a tough one for me to justify, like basketball wise. I try to make these videos realistic for this exact purpose. Like, what can we actually do with these guys? And I know that there's picks that need to be involved with this stuff as well, like going back to it's probably from the Lakers, like they'd have to trade like this 2029, probably not even, you maybe just move some seconds because you get off of like 8, and so sure, send over a couple of second round picks like in the future or something like that. That can go over to the Trailblazers, and this can go over to them as well. Nah, the Pelicans have to give up one just because. So yeah, this Bulls pick, I don't even know how they got that. That can go over there as well. This is the current trade. If you're the Blazers, you'd rather just have one more year of D'Angelo Russell. You get off his money, right? That's nice. So then you don't have to pay DeAndre Ayton anymore to just be a liability on the team at times. Hachimura, you can mess around with him, see if something works. Maybe let Denny have the ball a little bit more. I can sleep at night with this trade. I can sleep at night with this one. Next team on the list, the Houston Rockets. If they want to go all in, they can. You know, I have to look right at Dillon Brooks right away so that we can justify whether or not this makes sense. So Dillon Brooks obviously brings a lot of intensity, some defense, yada, yada, yada. He's shooting above or just about league average from 3 this year. Cool. 12 points a game, 3 rebounds. He's not doing much passing-wise, but would you rather have Brandon Ingram? A lot of people I feel like would say yes, because you can make a trade work here. Like you can just move Steven Adams, Dillon Brooks over there. They get a center, they get a wing as well. Cool. I don't think this team is touching Brandon Ingram, though, is the thing. Like there's plenty of other people that have the ball right now. Maybe if like Jalen Green got moved or something, you could justify it, but I don't know. I don't think it makes basketball sense to them. The Warriors, obviously there's a Wiggins thing, but Wiggins is playing well right now, and they're winning basketball games, so they're not doing that, and there's no other way to trade him otherwise. Thunder, I don't think the Thunder are touching this with a 9.5-foot pole, so it is what it is. Going on to the Wizards. No shot. No shot. Should I do one of these videos for Kyle Kuzma? What a weird season he's had this year. It's been not so great. Like 22 points a game. He's been really inefficient, though. Like 33% from 3. Blah. The field goal percentage, 46. Blah. His shot chart is really gross. I know that for sure. But, is there a reason to trade Brandon Ingram here, or are the Wizards just a potential third team? Probably just a potential third team in this somehow. That wouldn't be such a bad place to dump D'Lo to in that other trade we were doing. The Sixers, no shot. No, there's no way. No, too much money. Too much money. The Raptors, no. I think they like their wings of RJ, who, man, RJ Barrett's having a good season too, isn't he? Look at RJ Barrett, 20 points per game for this dude. Let me take a look at them stats. 33%. That's not as good as I thought it was. Actually, the field goal percentage is much further down than I thought it was. What's been going on, RJ? Just 2 weeks ago, you were like league average and everything. What happened? Whatever. He's had a couple of big scoring output games, but this team's pretty depleted, so I'm not surprised why. Fair enough. The Charlotte Hornets. There's probably something here. Do I really want to put him next to Brandon Miller? Not necessarily. I'd probably want to I want to keep John Salon on the court as much as possible right now. I personally think he has a lot of potential. I'd like to see if he can. Is there something where you could move Grant Williams and Josh Green? Almost certainly. Would the Pelicans maybe take that? Potentially. Grant Williams is out for the year, but you could still do it. I don't see the Hornets. They can be a third team if we absolutely need them to. Let's go over to the Hawks. Maybe. Hawks they're doing really well in the cup, so that's good for them. Is there a world
Is there a world where the Hawks say, honestly, if this were to happen, this should have happened before the season. Like Brandon Ingram probably should have been moved to this team. You move DeAndre Hunter or something like that. You move a Kongwu over. They get their center. They get a wing to play with. You save them some salary and you say, okay, we get to try out Brandon Ingram and Trae Young. If there's something there, cool, we extend him. If there's not, then whatever. It was a year anyway and we got off some salary. Awesome, right? Because this team never makes any money is the thing. But could we still draw something up for this? Maybe we can. So let's move Brandon Ingram over to the Hawks. Yep, that's the basis of it all. Definitely sending a Kongwu over to the Pelicans. They get their center. Amazing. Is it the perfect center in the world? No, it's hard to put centers around guys like Zion. DeAndre Hunter, who in my opinion should probably be starting for them. You look at his numbers, 15, 16 points a game, pretty much always the case for him, efficient from three. I haven't looked at his defensive numbers actually at all. Maybe I should look that up. All right, so here's DeAndre Hunter. He's an above average offensive player, below average defensive player right now. Not nearly as bad as it was the year before. Like some of that's going to be attributed to the Hawks, but these estimated plus minuses are pretty good at just centralizing things on the player individually. So overall, I'd say DeAndre Hunter, below average defensive player right now. Okay, so who else are we including in this? Is this one where we just send like Bogdan over? Because I feel like they're not utilizing him quite as much. Like it's 3 years on the deal, you get 4 years here. That kind of locks you into this interesting little core here. I don't know how good that team is overall. That could be a lot of contract. But hey, let's give it a shot. Does this even work? Something like this? This trade works. Okay, so you got to give them like a pick or something too, which you probably don't feel very good about that. We can trade this Kings pick or something like that. I don't think you need to give them all that. So I don't know. You probably don't want to trade much else. This isn't. It's not a pretty one. You're not trading this Lakers pick most likely. So we'll just say this Kings pick or something like that goes over as well. Why the hell not? Yeah, no, not a beautiful trade in my opinion. I don't know. I don't feel great about that one. Does Brandon Ingram need to be on this team? No. Do the Pelicans need to take back all this salary? No. So I'm kind of gonna scrap that one. I don't feel very good about it, and I don't want to give you guys something I don't feel good about. Chicago Bulls. Yeah, you can make something work with this. You can absolutely make something work with this. Let's figure it out. My Chicago Bulls, they take back Brandon Ingram because why the hell not, right? Why the hell not is basically it. They get off of some other people. So, and look, if he doesn't want to stick around with them after the season, then you saved yourself a little bit of money and you tore things down a little bit quicker. Vucevic goes over there, right? That's the start of it all. Vucevic, probably about the same caliber of player as Brandon Ingram, so that alone you feel pretty dang good about. How are we going to match the money now is the question. How do we match the money? It doesn't have to be perfect. We just have to get close. Is this one where we just send like a Javon Carter over there to the Pelicans as well? Do we get there? They need to cut another like $2-ish million. He was 6.5, so you could send Josh Giddey, you could send Jalen Smith. You think we could convince them to take Patrick Williams? Maybe maybe you can. That'd be a great contract to get off right now. I don't think this contract is going to age very well, in all honesty. I'm a little bit nervous, but we're going to hold on to him for the time being. Can we get a third team involved in this somehow? Can we bring like the Wizards into this or something? What can we do with the Wizards to help make this a little bit easier? So what? We need to cut or like $2 more million. Is that what needs to happen here? Yeah, they need to cut another $2-ish million. How can we do that? Do they want anybody from here? Can we take like a bad contract from them or something? I don't know. Okay, so maybe we undo this. How can we make this happen? Valanciunas could be moved to the Bulls. I'm guessing that's not what they want to do. They want to hold that leverage over the Lakers in this, most likely. You can move Marvin Bagley over to the Bulls. That's not the worst thing in the world, but they don't need any more money on here. But they could move Lonzo Ball or something. That could be interesting. Maybe Lonzo doesn't want to be there. They could just ride the year out with him. It doesn't necessarily matter. This is a tough one. No, let's move Javon Carter back over there to the Pelicans. I don't think that's such a bad thing. We just need to ship somebody off as well. Torrey Craig, no, you probably want to send him off to like some sort of contender or something like that. So can we send Chris Duarte over to the Wizards, and then they've got to send somebody over to like the
to the Bulls for like really cheap. I mean, they've got cheap players that they don't need, right? Like we'll take back like Patrick Baldwin or something just because he's young, and that's what we'll tell our fans we did. Look, we went and got a young player. Okay, there we go. So something else has to happen here, right? Or does there? Do there even need to be picks involved in this? They got Vucevic. They wanted a center that can play next to Zion. You got one, right? That's probably the best center fit that you've had so far. You got Javon Carter, solid player that's not being used very well right now. Bulls get to try out Brandon Ingram, or at the very least, they're going to cut out some salary this year. They get Patrick Baldwin because he needed to be in the trade. Chris Duarte went over to the Wizards. We probably have to pay them something. We're going to make the Pelicans pay for him or something because we took on the salary and we gave them Vucevic, so they send our second round pick over to the Wizards as a condolence for having to play Chris Duarte at some point this season, and so there you go. That's not a bad one. I can stomach this. I can stomach that as well. All right, let's go set up another one. Where are we going now? So we did the Bulls, Pistons. Okay, so I always get a little bit of flack whenever I do something like this, because you Pistons fans, look, I get you guys don't have the cleanest drinking water, but you guys aren't the brightest fan base either. I'm just going to be honest with you. Pistons fans seem a little bit more doy-doy in the head compared to some of my other fans that watch this. And look, I love all of you guys. I do. But look, it's okay to be a dummy. I'm a dummy with a lot of things. I promise you I am. I'm good at statistics. I'm good with basketball coaching. That's about it, though. Like, if you ask me to do anything, I can't even dress myself most of the days. Like, my wife will be like, "Are you leaving the house looking like this?" I'm like, "Yeah, these are my clothes." She goes, "No, you are a representation of me. You cannot leave the house like that." So just know, it's okay to be a dum-dum. It's just, you can't be so passionate and be a dum-dum. That's how I know you're extra dumb, because you get emotional about it. Dum-dum people, they go to emotions too quickly. Anyway, let's talk about Ingram to the Pistons. Why would this happen? It's a very specific thing, right? If the Pistons wanted to say, like, hey, we're trying to win basketball games right now. We're trying to do whatever we can to help Cade Cunningham to try to win some games because we're like the 10 seed right now. We'd like to be a play-in team. Let's see what we can do. This could be a way to go about it. I don't know if signing Brandon Ingram to a long-term contract is necessarily the way to go about doing that. I don't think adding another ball handler next to Cade Cunningham is necessarily what I want to do right now. So I'm going to pass for the time being, but I think it's interesting. The Nets, there'd be no purpose. They'd be a good third team to throw in something. Ooh, Pacers. Hello, Indiana Pacers. You guys could use a little bit of assistance right now. Looking at your salaries, you're going to have to pay Miles Turner at the end of the year. That's going to get expensive, and you're going to have to pay Brandon Ingram as well if I do that. That's going to get expensive. Do you want to trade like Obi Toppin and guys like that? It's not going to be the easiest thing to construct anyway. They're not that bad. So let me just spitball with this. I don't think this makes a ton of like business sense to actually do, but let me just spitball some things really quick. You send him over to the Pelicans. You send him over to the Pelicans, right? Does that even financially work? No, they need to cut another 11. Oh boy, yeah, no, not happening. I don't think that happens unless we get a third team involved somehow. Do we? Do we just for the shits and giggles of it? No, the Pacers aren't taking on Brandon Ingram. That doesn't make any sense. Get out of the AVC. Ooh. Okay, just play with me for a second, all right? Just play with me. The Bucks were dumb enough to blow up the championship team they already had once, right? They traded Drew Holiday. They might do it again for Chris Middleton. I think Giannis really, really likes Chris Middleton. I can tell you firsthand, because I know some people deep in the Bucks organization. They do whatever this guy says, and he doesn't even ask for like anything. They just try to do everything to make this guy happy at all times. That's why Alex Antetokounmpo was on the G League team for so long. He was like the worst player in the G League. No offense, Alex Antetokounmpo. I've played against you before. You're better at basketball than I, but like it's just is what it is. Anyway, Chris Middleton. Is there something here? Do we say, look, this dude's been kind of banged up to this point? Is there something here? Chris Middleton, you bring another vet onto this team, maybe try to steer Zion Williamson over to a salad? I don't know. Let's see what we can do here. So move him over here. We have to move more money, though. We have to move more money. So Pat Connaughton goes over there. They send over somebody else, right? So do something like this. Can we just take back like Daniel Tice? They wouldn't mind having Daniel Tice on this team. What happens if I do this? Ooh, this is kind of interesting. Okay, we'd have to supplement them more. Like, we have to give him like a draft pick or something like that because Middleton's banged up to all hell. So we trade like one of these picks or something like that. Like, can you trade like the 2031? Is that stipend rule yet? I don't know if I don't know if the Bucks are like a certain amount of years into the apron to where they can or can't trade this pick. I don't know if Fanspo would tell me if it was or wasn't. My smart people in the comments will let me know that. But that's an interesting one. That's a really interesting one. You throw Brandon Ingram on the team with Giannis. That's pretty crazy. Added Daniel Tice, so you get another big man. They throw this over here. Pelicans get a draft pick for it. They get Chris Middleton, who would be serviceable to them right now. Pat Connaughton is on the team. That's great. We should give him like a big or something like that, shouldn't we? We need to get a third team involved in this, actually. Let's get a third team because they're not getting like enough out of this. Can we get the Trailblazers involved now again to send another center over? Let's do that. Let's do this somehow because we just took a center from the two. We can't do that. We literally cannot do that to them. So we need to send them somebody else. Pat Connaughton can go over to the Trailblazers right now. Robert Williams. He can come back over, though, right? Robert Williams, is that who we want to do, or do we want to do Reith? We can send Reith over to the Bucks. Okay, or not to the Bucks. We want to send him over to the Pelicans. So he goes over there. They get a center that they can use, right? They need to move somebody. It could be other people, at the end of the day, but is what it is. Or do we mix this up completely? Let me just try this one. Does this one even work? They need to cut another $5 million. Okay, wait. Why did this say the way? Okay, that was really weird for a second. Like, Duop Reith was in like two places. Okay, so we just have to move. Yeah, we just have to cut like $5 million and move it back over to the Pelicans somehow. Let me just figure out this one really quick. There's not an easy person to move. God damn it. Okay, who don't we want? Matisse? Can we move Matisse somewhere else? Is there someone else on this team that we'd be okay with moving? Like CJ McCollum or something like that? I don't think so. You're not trading any of these guys necessarily. So can we trade Matisse over to the Pelicans? And then can we move because what else are they getting out of this? So they got Matisse, they got Chris Middleton. Jordan Hawkins has been solid for them. He doesn't get to play necessarily a ton. Are we cool with moving Jordan Hawkins over to the Trailblazers then so that they can get another little shooter? Why not, right? Recently signed financial. They need to cut $62K. God damn it. No. Okay, this isn't going to work. Okay, so I want to scrap this again. I know I'm kind of just like jabbering right now a little bit, but just hold on for a second. Just hold on. There's something to be done here. So instead, we do really dirty by Chris Middleton and send him to the Trailblazers. We do really dirty by him by doing that. Send Ayton back over to the Pelicans. Does this just work in and of itself? Financial, they need to cut $4 million still. That's fine. Guess what? I've got a dude by the name of Marchon Beauchamp and somebody else, insert name. How much was it? How much more do I need to cut? 4.3. So Beauchamp is an option, along with like DeLon Wright. Okay, so we can do that. Send him over to the Blazers. Send DeLon Wright, who just annoys me watching him play right now. I like DeLon Wright as a dude. Hasn't been the best season. Do something like this. Financial. This means, for example, oh, that's right. They need to get another player back somehow. Okay. Well, guess what? I've got just the name for you. It is, where did Daniel Tice go? Daniel Tice moves over to the Bucks. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh, what? The Bucks are unable to, since they're over the second, they're not able to aggregate players in trades. But they didn't. Did they? Oh, it's because they have 3 people. Okay, so we have to... Shit. Oh, no, it's all ruined. It's all coming down. Jabari Walker's not very good. You can send him over there. Why not? Give it a shot. Financially, need to cut 1.5 million. It's not going to work. Trades are too hard to make. We're scrapping this one. Scrapping it. Didn't work. Sorry, y'all. It didn't work. Maybe just like the original Middleton one. I don't know. Miami Heat... No, I don't see any way that happens. New York Knicks, no way in hell. Orlando Magic, nope. They're not, I don't think they're touching much right now. Celtics literally couldn't. Cleveland Cavaliers, if you want to go all in, you really could. Karis LeVert, just looking at him for a second, he's actually had a solid year. Oh, why did the 3-point percentage drop again? Oh, Karis LeVert, you were playing so well at the beginning of the season. What happened? Is this up to date? Is this up to date? Can we go over to Karis LeVert over here? Is it really that bad? No! Wait, what the hell? What was I looking at? What was this? Oh, it's 23-24. Oh, that's why I'm tripping about things up here. Oh, I know somebody was in the comments already. If you commented that already, come back to this point of the video, you dumb. Watch the whole thing. I don't know why I like calling you guys dumb so much. I'm literally just looking at a camera and losing my mind. Karis LeVert having a good season, right? Valuable basketball player. Been very good for them. Big reason why they're having some success. Okay. We got that. Could we go get them like a forever solution right now at the wing? You send over, you might even just be able to do Strus. And let's just work with me for a second. Brandon Ingram goes over there. You send a Coro over as well. They get a younger dude that they can mess with a little bit. Does this work? Cut $10 million still. Oh boy. Okay. It might be too hard. $16 million. So instead of a Coro, we do have to send Karis LeVert over, and that's fine. Like, that's a more equal swap of players in a trade. Cavs could go all in and do something like that. They could. That's a lot of ball handlers on one team. But could you imagine the starting five of Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Brandon Ingram, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen? You still have a bench then of Isaac Okoro. You can throw Niang out there. It's, Ty Jerome obviously is still on the team. It's a little bit questionable after that, but is what it is. Are they able to send over like anything else in terms of like support players or something like that? Could we convince them to send like Javonte Green over just because we know he's a high impact player or something like that? Yes, we could. That's my final trade. I like that one. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that if I'm the Cavs. You get a nice little hustle player out of it too. But anyway, that's it, y'all. It's hard to make trades in the NBA at this point. It just is. It's the nature of the beast. We've put these rules in for a reason. I'm curious to see what happens, man. I'm really curious. You guys comment down below. Do you think he's going to get an extension? Do you think he gets traded? If so, to where? If the Pelicans just fumble this and they just lose him to free agency or something, well, that'd be rough. But anyway, appreciate you guys for watching as always. Probably tomorrow I might do the video that I did for the Bulls, but for the Nets. So you guys stay tuned for that. You guys seem to like that. So anyway, thanks for the support as always, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.